6. My email is kristen@bostonconnect.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, pretty easy to find. And I've been here just over 5 years, and I love it. And yeah, I love being here tonight. I was just writing an offer on the porch.
You were.
Yeah,
I know.
it was
Yeah.
so nice. It was perfect out there.
Sometimes because I've been here longer than you. Been here, what, a little over 7 years. And I don't even remember what it's like to be here without you. Like, I feel like whenever you're like, oh, I've been here for 5 years, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
You've been
5
here?
years.
No, I don't remember a time when you weren't in my life.
I know. I know.
So we are going to be continuing our discussion. We are live on Facebook. So if you follow Boston Connect Real Estate, McNamara Broker Team, if you're on any of the Connect pages, what's your Facebook?
Kristen Howlett, Realtor. No, yes, Kristen Howlett, Realtor.
We'll tag you.
Yeah, there's personal and
Yeah.
my business, and then Kristen Howlett.
Okay.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. You should
Yeah,
know this.
I should.
Come on. All right. So we are going to be continuing our discussion. If you have any questions or want to join in on the discussion, you can follow us on Facebook, or you can call George at the studio, 781-837-4900.
Oh my gosh, I would love all the calls tonight.
We're going to get all the calls, right?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. So again, 781-837-4900. We're talking about real estate scams, or you can just, ask us anything. You can say hi. You
can
can
always
say we're
pivot.
listening. Yeah, we can pivot. Pivot. You know that episode of Friends? Pivot.
Mm-mm.
You didn't watch Friends?
I did watch Friends, but then I have like this shaky memory. Things go in and out.
It's like a
remember.
staple episode when they're trying to bring the sofa up the stairs. And he's like, pivot. Pivot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So what do you want to kick off the show with? Real estate scams.
So we talked last week about a few. I feel like this really is such a good topic.
It is, because it's so, like, we sort of, even though you're not hearing about it every day, it doesn't mean it's not happening. Like, just like everything else in this world. But
I just feel like too, the world, like, I don't like it. I don't like.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give it for instance.
Okay.
I was just telling you, we have this canoe that's been on the side of our house. We haven't used it in probably the last, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. We used it all the time when the kids were little. Brian got it. All 5 of us would pile in this canoe with the dog. We'd go down the Cape. We brought it up to New Hampshire. We would go over to Lake Nipponicket and Lake Rico, pile in and just go out. And we had so much fun using it, but we haven't used it because we kayak now. So anyways, Brian's been up and down. Oh, I should save it. Oh, I should save it. Wait for the kids. Wait for grandchildren, whatever. So finally I'm like, the horse things, what do you call them? The things that it rests on fell over. So I'm like, that's it. Clean it up. We'll put it on Facebook Marketplace. Oh my God, the scams.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable.
Well, you sell a lot of things on Facebook Marketplace for your clients.
I do, but then when people are so blatant about being, okay, here's one.
Being a scammer.
Being a scammer. And now, you know what? I'm just saying, you're a scammer.
You're a scammer.
So,
leave me alone.
Seriously. Well, one was, okay. Is it fine to overnight you a cashier's check and arrange movers to do the pickup after the check clears? I'm including $50 for the hold. 3 different people texted me the same exact thing.
That is so weird.
And I finally said,
you're a scammer?
Here I am, just trying to sell a canoe. And you honestly are trying to scam me.
That's a canoe. Yeah, and that's a canoe, not a house. Could you imagine all the things that we get?
I just can't believe how many people, like, get a job, get a hobby, get something else to do with your life than to stalk Facebook Marketplace when people are selling something and try to pull one over on someone.
Well, we talked about this on Saturday. It's like, it doesn't matter, your age or anything like that. Like, anybody can be scammed, and everybody is being targeted no matter what. So whether it's with real estate or anything.
Yeah.
Everybody is a target. And I am always like, every time somebody reaches out to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I don't think I could ever sell something like online like that, because I would be like suspicious of
The
everybody.
good news is we sold it. Someone's coming tomorrow to pick it up.
A
and
real
he's
person?
A real person. He works down the street. So you always have to look at the profile. We went back and forth. We had a conversation. He's bringing cash. I'm not interested even in Venmo. I'm just like,
Yeah.
bring cash. I'm not going to tell you where I live until, my husband and my 6
Wait, they're
foot,
going to your house?
230-pound kid is, yeah, because I have to pick it up.
Oh, well, yeah. It is
So
a canoe.
I'm not giving you my actual address until like my bodyguards are there.
Just meet in the middle of the street. Can you drag it to the
We could do
street?
that.
And then they don't even
He
know.
seems fine. Actually,
They all seem
Jess
fine
Page
until
and-
they're
We
not.
have a mutual friend with Jess Page.
Oh, okay.
So then you kind of start putting two.
See,
and two
I would have
together.
I would have reached out to Jess Page. So Jess Page is a full-time realtor at Boston Connect Real Estate, and I would have reached out to her and said, "Hey, do you know this guy? What's his deal? He's coming to buy my canoe. Is he a real person?"
He's real. He's fine. He was like, I work down the street, blah blah blah. I work.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going back and forth, but again,
Yeah.
we've sold other things. We mostly give stuff away on Facebook Marketplace, which there's no, harm in that. But I cannot believe the world that we live in is just about people trying to take advantage of other people.
Yeah.
And it makes me angry.
Yeah. But we're going to make the world a better place, right?
We are tonight.
We are. Have you come across any real estate scams on like social media? Or have you seen
now
any?
the newest one is always the one that I find, and it hurts me too because everyone's sharing it, is the one where it's like, my parents have this house and they want to do a rent to own, and it's not real. And people share it, and then someone gets their hopes up. And I don't know the background of the scam, but you can see it. You can see it in a second, especially if something looks like it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Well, there was something going around, I don't know, a couple weeks ago that it was like this original post, and it was, I can't remember if it was an animal that was missing or a
what's
person that was missing.
What is that? Why do they do that?
Or a person that was missing, and it was like this whole thing, and they waited until like it had been shared like, I don't know, thousands of times, and then they switched like the information out.
Yes.
So it was really like a house for rent or like a house for sale or something. So it was like real estate related, and everyone was like, once people caught on and they were like, wait a minute, I didn't share this. I shared like somebody was missing.
Yeah.
So that's another way. Like, I don't know. I'm just like a firm believer in like just picking up the phone and talking to someone, or like talking to somebody in person is like the best form of communication.
I'm gonna try to find, as you're talking, I'm gonna try to find that rent to own one, because that's been a few times now.
Yeah.
It's been a few times where somebody posts something.
Well, it's like
And-
you're creating a fake listing, but for this one that I'm talking about, like they waited until it like sort of became viral and then switched out the information. I never followed up with it. Probably should have if I was going to bring it up on the show, but I would be curious to know if they were like, oh, got in touch with somebody and like asked for money, like they did. Sharon shared a story on Saturday about an old listing that she had, and somebody had posted her professional photos from when she sold the condo. Somebody had reached out to her and said, hey, like I'm interested in renting this, and Sharon's like, wait a minute, what? Like that was my listing. So reached out to the new buyer who she helped purchase the condo, and oh, you found it, and they had scammed people out of money.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a real rental listing.
I didn't get it. Yeah, this is just, and also it's just jerky because the world is filled with people, one sitting next to me with these high hopes of buying a house.
That's me.
And then you put something out there and it's like you're just teasing people. Like, don't do that.
Well, I did share with you earlier that I'm not particularly fond of this, so this is off topic, but there's a property that came on the market this week. It was yesterday, so it was Monday. That's in my price range. I know that there's a lot of people in my price range looking for a house right now, and there's no showings until Saturday open house. So I'm like, so from Monday to Saturday.
How long is the open house on Saturday?
2 hours.
Oh, better than 1 hour.
It's better than 1 hour. However, now you have all these people like waiting, 5 days?
Yeah.
It's disappointing.
I know.
For what?
I know.
It's a vacant house.
I know.
Why?
I don't know.
I know this is off topic and not a scam, but I feel scammed. Like, I almost feel like, oh, here's a treat dangling in front of you, but you can't have it for 5 days. Like, I would be like, what? Like, I'm just, I don't know. I don't understand it. If somebody could explain it to me, that would be great. Because as a buyer in this market, when nothing is on the market, I don't understand why I'm being told I have to wait 5 days to see the one house that came on the market in my price range.
I think we talked about this before, and I think Sharon did reach out and had one other broker, I think, on. It would be interesting as we're going back into this, because, I mean, I think it's not going to slow down anytime soon. But it would be interesting to get some people, not just Boston Connect agents, but other agents, and say, like, why do you do that strategy? What is your reason? Maybe there's a reason that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I would love for somebody to explain it to me, because as a buyer, putting my buyer cap on, it's not great. Like, it's not helpful to the process.
It's going right back to where we were before, which is people having to strategize which houses to look for. And then you can only really, ethically and in good conscience put an offer in on one house, because what if both of them get, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting like depressing. We gotta liven it up.
Well, I feel like you're down today.
Yeah.
You're a little Debbie Downer.
No kidding.
Something I want to talk about is some of these scams I can't really talk too much about, like loan fraud. Like, I don't know too much about loan fraud. Do you? I wonder if we have a loan officer that could call in. So if you are a loan officer and wants to call in and talk about loan fraud.
Well, I do know that Teresa Giudice went to jail for loan fraud.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, for forging documents.
Oh, I didn't know that that's why I didn't know that that's what she went to jail for.
Oh, yeah, her and Joe both. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So what did she do?
I think fake W-2s and stuff like that, and not being completely. I'm sure that it still happens, but I think it's probably really difficult to do it now.
Yeah. I would be curious if a loan officer was listening. Again, 781-837-4900, or you can comment on Facebook. We're live on Boston Connect Real Estate. If you could explain
this is a
the
good
loan
one, too.
fraud. What?
Home improvement scams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then let's talk about that.
Yep.
Home improvement scams. Have you heard any of them?
What
are they?
We do see that. So when somebody will come and prey on maybe an elderly person, or say that things need to be done in the house, and they'll give them a quote, and then they'll take the money up front, and then they don't show up. Mm-hmm. They don't finish the job. There's a lot of that, unfortunately, in our what's the word I'm trying to use?
I don't know. I'm letting you work it through.
What do we in our environment, in our industry.
In our industry.
Yeah.
In our environment.
People who need, People who, and I think too, the better is, I'm always so cautious when people go on Facebook and they're like, hey, I need somebody. And then 50,000 people do 50,000 other people. It's like, call someone that you really trust, who's used somebody, and find out who they used.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that you're going to really get somebody who's trustworthy. Other than that, you're going to get all these shoddy people that show up. Oh, look, shoddy work.
Yeah, I actually know so I know somebody, one of my friends had hired someone that I think reached out to her on Facebook. She had like posted, oh, I need some handyman work, whatever. They essentially wanted like the money up front, but something that she realized after the fact was, so it would have been weird to her if like they wanted the full amount up front, but they were like, oh, if you pay half, when we start and then half when we finish, but they never showed up to finish the works because they overcharged.
Of course they did.
So they
Yeah.
overcharged and was just like, oh, here's the, I'll use extremes. It's $5,000 for the work, but we take $2,500 to start, and then $2,500 when it's done. They'll take the $2,500 and then never show up,
Yeah.
and they'll, I don't know, change
Yeah.
their number or
Yeah.
something.
I
But
would
that's how they're
think-
getting people.
I would think that would be a red flag, but for some people it might not be.
Yeah.
So to go full circle with that, you can always reach out to Boston Connect. We have a list of trusted people that we can always give you recommendations, everything from a plumber to a pool guy to a septic to electrician. Anything you need, we can always, and I will only recommend somebody who I have personally used or someone that I know has personally used.
Yeah.
I will never. And if I haven't used them, I will tell my clients, I haven't used him, but Melissa did, and this is what she had to say.
Yeah, every time I refer somebody or a company out, I always say like, oh, I use them personally, or I have not used them personally. However, this person in my life
I
has,
wish
or whatever.
someone would call if they had a scam like that.
I know.
Somebody.
If you know of a scam, any scam at this point, we don't
Yeah.
care. 718-337-4900. George is ready to take your call.
I know, and we don't want to embarrass anyone
No.
if you don't want to talk about it, but honestly, I do think that it's like a public service announcement. It's only helping someone else.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we're doing 2 shows on it. I mean, it's just, it's everywhere. I get messages all the time. So I am an admin for a lot of the Connect pages here on the South Shore on Facebook. And I will be honest, it's pretty exhausting.
And we do see a lot of that. We do see a lot of
We
that
do see a
on
lot of scams.
those pages.
There was an agent recently, and I only say that they're an agent. It had nothing to do with real estate, but they reached out to me because I am an admin for one of the pages and said, hey, like, just wanted to let you know that, like, my client, who happens to be my friend, she purchased, I think it was Bruins tickets on like one of like the Connect pages or somewhere on yeah, it must have been a Connect page because that's why they reached out to me, and it was a scam, and she was a young girl and she sent the money and never got the tickets, and they were super expensive, and obviously there's nothing that I can do about it other than delete the person, and that's what I did, but it's just so easy to sort of be scammed no matter. I mean, I think I'm a pretty smart person, but I think probably somebody can scam me. But yeah, so home improvement, anything else with the home improvement scams? I really feel like are the days gone where people went door knocking? Do you think people door knock still?
I think people still do. I mean, we have solar people who still door knock. I think young college kids who like just are trying to earn some money who just, I mean, we get a lot of door to door.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say a lot. It's
in your neighborhood?
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We still do get the solar. We recently we had somebody like selling books, like not encyclopedias, but like kind of, and I'm like,
Books?
why would we ever? Yeah. Like preying on like the students in my family.
Oh.
Like they just Google everything. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're past that.
Yeah. I don't know if that
I
would be a good scam.
never listen. If somebody doesn't, I mean, obviously if they're coming to the door and I'm not jerky like that. I would just always, everybody has to make a living, and that's how you choose to do it. Then that's fine. I'm not going to be rude, but I do think that, sometimes you just have to be careful. You have to just not trust that the person, I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody's that busy, why are they?
We get a lot. So here at our office, we're located in the center of Pembroke. So we have a really great like prime location, and we do have a lot of vendors that come in. So whether they're solar or, and it's not necessarily, loan officers, although we do have a lot of loan officers that do stop by with some information stuff. But there are like general contractors, electricians, and like people who are trying to generate business will come in here and want to drop off their stuff and leave their stuff on display and stuff. But you know, it was just myself, but now that we have Julia working at the front desk, we have sort of that ability to take their information, not necessarily promote them, but reach out to our agents and say, hey, has anyone used this? Because like we said earlier, like I'm not going to promote like a company. Yeah. We're not going to promote a company that like we have never heard of or we don't have anybody who's ever used them. We would love to create a relationship with them, even especially if they're just starting out, like, yeah, we would love to help you out. However, like your reputation is everything and we need to know that you can back up what you're saying.
Right.
So that's why we're very strategic with who we bring on the radio show. So
I just thought of something too. We talked a couple weeks ago about 55 plus.
yeah.
And a lot of those 55 plus communities have approved lists of vendors for that reason. Everybody who's on the only people that
vendors of what?
Anything, contractors,
electricians, so they can like come in and
plumbers.
do that,
You almost have to be. I mean, some of them you do have to be on the list. They have to be approved by the community, and not because they're trying to control things, but because they're trying to protect the people that live there, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. And, I think that that's a great idea. I would be curious to see like how someone could get on that list. I would be curious to know if there are vendors that go to communities like that and try to.
I know there's a lot of landscapers. There's a lot of, but we have had people, because I've helped clients look for, somebody if they wanted to build a new deck or they wanted to do, whatever their needs are, they have to be, one in particular, they have to be approved by the community in order to have people come in.
Yeah. This is just something like professional wise. So like me, everyone knows I'm looking for a property for myself, but a lot
Really?
of, yeah, I'm looking to buy a house.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for, I don't know, 2 or 3 bedroom ranch, bungalow, little cape, something, in Plymouth County. But a lot of the times when I always tell the agent, so if I'm reaching out to the listing agent of a property that I want to see, I always tell them that I'm looking for myself. And I've noticed that a lot lately I've been communicating via text. And that's like our first form of communication. Like today I reached out to an agent. I tried calling, but their voicemail was full. So I texted them and we just communicated like via text. And I got a lot of information that I should, as an agent, be getting. But like I could be somebody else. I literally just said, hi, I'm Melissa Wallace from Boston Connect Real Estate. I like this show X, Y, and Z. And we just sort of went back and forth, and then they're like, oh, here's all the information for your showing. And I'm like, I could have been anybody.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
And that's happened the past now three showings that I've had.
Huh?
I have not talked to them on the phone.
I will say, I will text or I will talk, and then I will say, reply back with either your MLS number, your name, your company, give me who you are, and then I'll give you information. Yeah. I don't know I would ever give, I'm a big one I always like to do accompanied showings anyway, so.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I'm kind of weird like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like selling someone's house is a big deal.
Yeah,
and we're
sure
taking on a lot of responsibilities, especially now if it was vacant, maybe not.
So you don't feel like as a listing agent, if you're there with a buyer's agent and their buyers, you don't feel
I
like
say I let them in and I'll walk outside. I'll walk around the house. I'm here if you have any questions. I don't hover.
Yeah. That's how I am when I host open houses. So I always I'm generally in the kitchen or wherever I can see door.
Yeah.
And I greet them. I just especially when they're coming with their agent. So I don't need to be hovered over another agent at all.
Well, maybe because I definitely do not hover, but I've never had somebody. I've actually had the opposite, where people are thankful that I'm there because sometimes the other agent is running late and I'm there to let their client in and we can kind of get it started. You know what I mean? But I don't ever, I leave it up to my sellers. I say, I'm happy to, as long as it's within reason. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do, if I have to, if it's a long drive. But I mean, most of my places are local, so I have
Yeah.
no problem with scheduling the times I go. I open up the door, I let them go in. But also because, again, we'll go back to scams. When you open yourself up and you put your house on, you're taking a certain risk and you need to protect yourself at all costs. And if that means that somebody's there to make sure that the house is locked up the way it's supposed to be so that when you come home, it's, I think it's just an added thing that I give my clients that I feel like most of them appreciate it.
Yeah. I definitely, when I see a property, I like to leave it how I found it. However, like I always shut all the lights off and I make sure all of the doors are closed,
Yeah.
locked.
Yeah.
I even take a video that I
Because
lock the
that's,
door.
yeah, but
That I lock the door.
yeah, because you're in that industry and you're a good person. And there are a lot of people who,
I am a good
yeah,
person.
but there really are a lot of people that would be, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. People just open themselves up for,
Yeah. Something that also, like, to prevent maybe sort of having a scam or just knowing that you're working with a professional is if you're having work done, ask for a contract. I feel like that it's fine to, like, you should ask that, see if they're insured, and ask for a contract.
yeah,
Don't you think?
100%.
Or quote or something,
I,
something that has some sort of, business behind it. I feel like would definitely help you, especially, not to get scammed.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like we've lucked out because I'm going to give him a shout out, even though he doesn't really, I'm probably his only client, is Joe Cooney, who's my guy, who every time I need something, I call Joe. Sometimes I sweet talk him with a roast beef dinner or some
What?
sort of
Who?
dinner. But he comes over and he was just at my house a couple weeks ago fixing a piece of the flashing in front of the on the front of the house fell off, and he came and he got the ladder and he fixed it for me. He
Nice.
does everything. He's like my handyman. I want him to retire and just be my professional
Just work for
handyman.
you.
Well, in real estate too.
Well, nice.
Except sometimes he can't. He has a fresh mouth. Sometimes he can't be around.
Children.
Definitely not children.
That's funny. Yeah, Mary and Sam have like a handy
Yeah.
man too,
Yeah.
so that they like. So
Yeah. Joe's built decks. He's going to fix our interior door soon.
Yeah.
I want him to do a new front door. He does everything, roofs, everything, but he's getting old now.
yeah, I think the best, especially because we work by referral. I think that the best way, like if you just bought a house, even if you didn't just buy a house, but a realtor. I feel like a realtor is a great wealth of knowledge for like all of these people.
Yeah, that's what- yeah.
Because like even during a transaction, like if you
Yes.
after a home inspection, say you need a plumber, like the buyer goes to their realtor and say,
Yeah.
"Hey, do you know a plumber?" Like if they don't know one, like, "Hey, do you know a plumber?" And then 9 times out of 10 they do.
I mean, I still have clients who reach out to me 2, 3, 4 years after a transaction and are like, "Hey, I need someone for this.
Yeah.
Who do you have?" Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of what we do. I mean,
Yeah.
we refer each other, and
Right.
but at least I can confidently say that all of the agents at Boston Connect Real Estate wouldn't refer somebody that they haven't used personally or their clients haven't used like over and over again.
This brings us back though, because remember we did talk about doing like some sort of a little handbook. We should do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for like internally
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to give to clients.
Well, to both. Well, to refer to clients. We
Yeah.
can, I mean, I know we have I remember one time we did a show and it was like, I got a guy. And we all
I
gave
got a
our
guy.
guys.
Oh yeah, we should have
Yeah.
pulled that. We
Yeah.
should have pulled that.
Because that's a good one. Because it
That
is.
agenda.
I think for the general population, I think that most people we've talked about, like, senior citizens who can get, taken advantage of in certain things like their homes and selling their homes for, a lot less than it's worth or things like that. But really, like everyday things would be something like that. Like you need a new deck. You want to make sure that the guy doesn't come and take, 5,000 and then not show up again.
Yeah, I'm going through our little agenda, and one of the things is don't take money, like don't give money up front.
Yeah.
And I came up with that on my own.
But I think it's so true. Like a reputable person, you know what they may say? They may say
deposit,
or you need to buy the stock. Like say you're doing a deck. They may say this is what it's going to be for stock. Now most of them can do it on credit at a place.
If I'm hiring somebody, I don't want to do any more work. That's just me. Like
there was someone over the last 10 years who was like a contractor guy who got in trouble and a lot of people sued him. But that's what he would do. He would take the money and then tell the people that he would need the money for stock, but then buy the stock on credit and then take the money.
Oh,
yeah. It caught up with him though. He got in trouble. But anyways, if I can see certain times where it would be appropriate, maybe they need, but then you can call Home Depot and give Home Depot your credit card. And you know that you're buying it for your job. You know what I mean? Like you can have it delivered to your house.
There's ways around it. Yeah.
There's ways around it. You shouldn't
I wouldn't
have
do it
to.
though.
But what I'm saying is, if somebody's saying to you, "Hey, Melissa, I'll do it, but I need the money to buy the stock," you can be like, "Oh, I'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to buy it."
Well, it's sorta-ish similar when you do a construction loan, so you're essentially paying for things as it goes along through your loan, as opposed to new construction where you're financing the final product.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can do a show about that too. We can do a show about anything. If you have any ideas about what we should talk about, 781-837-4900. But yeah, I think that home improvement scams, they're super prevalent. And again, we're not always, I feel like I see things all the time about the home improvement scams, whether somebody didn't show up or they took the money, they didn't finish the work.
Or they did something, or they didn't
do it good. Yeah, they didn't do a good job.
Oh, yeah. We do hear a lot about that.
Yeah. But again, I mean, if
you know what we do what we have to do too. I'm gonna make a commitment.
Okay.
I knew that I was going to be on today, so for now on, when I'm going to be on, we'll put everything else what our topic is going to be, and we can have people think about it and then call in or give us ideas on things that have happened.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's, and we can, because it would have been great to have people call and say, "Oh yeah, this was great. Oh, this was not great."
Another fraud that I want to talk about is escrow wire fraud.
Oh, we talked about that. Remember?
Yeah. On Saturday.
Oh, this just sends me into a tailspin.
Do you have a personal story?
Just ours. Just Boston Connects. That whole with
Sharon and Mary?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, the attorney.
Oh. The one.
Yeah, that
last
wired
year?
the money. Yeah.
2 years? Yeah. So, that was awful. But I don't remember all the details, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But when the one with Mary and Sharon happened, I actually went to the closing with Mary. I don't remember why we were together, but we went to the closing together. And everything was fine. We were handed a check that was the proceeds. So the property wasn't on record. Sharon and Mary were the listing agents. So we got the proceeds check from the attorney. We came back to our office because we're supposed to hold that until. Do we have a caller?
We do have a caller.
Oh,
So
who do we have on the line?
Hello.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
It's Sharon McNamara from Pembroke.
Yes.
Hello, Sharon from Pembroke. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you for
good.
calling.
Yes, I just got an opportunity to listen in, and I'm loving sort of part 2 of our conversation from Saturday. And I was just listening to the whole thing about scams of, with contractors and everything, and you guys bring up some really, really good points about that. And one of the things is I think it's always great when we have real live examples. So I think it's important too and we were talking about this on Saturday, right? The 3 of us were there, and it's having a team and having a person, even though we're real estate agents, I feel like we're more advisors, right? And we just happen to know a little bit about everything, right? Because we do a lot of, home inspections, and we learn a lot, and we know a lot of contractors and things like that, is always to lean into us for these types of things. Because I'll never forget, I had a situation one time when I was I had a listing, and my client was actually an attorney, and he was moving out of state. He was right-sizing, and the buyers had the home inspection, and lo and behold, they came back and they said, there's no ridge vent. And I said, well, all right, well, let me just check with the seller. And I went to the seller and I was like, they said that there's no ridge vent. And he's like, the roof is 2 years old. It certainly has a ridge vent. From the exterior of the house, like if you're looking at the top on the ridge, it looked and appeared that it had a ridge vent. But when you went inside into the attic, it wasn't cut.
Oh, my God.
So he was furious, and he tried to track down the company that did the roof, and they were no longer in business. So
conveniently.
Conveniently, and that's the thing is, I think a lot of times, like we've talked about this on the show, and I know you've had conversations with Tracy Grady, one of our full-time real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate, about, people not getting permits, right? Like they don't get permits because, the extra money or the hassle or whatever it is. They don't want the assessor knowing, like different things like that. But then a situation like this is, don't just hire the cheapest roofer. I mean, that's obviously the reason why that happened. Now, I was today, one of my best friend's mom is in the hospital, and she is going to be making her way to heaven pretty soon, and just to spend some time, quality time with her today, I was with her husband, and he brought up something about his roof, and I referred him to the roofer, so Falcone Roofing out of Pembroke. So love them. They did our roof. We have the best resources and people, and I think, Mel, you just said this, or Kristen, the people that we have and we give are people we trust ourselves. And that's what makes us good resources, too. And that's why, Kristen, when you said we need to do that book, you're right. We need to do something about that.
Because also, too, they, one hand washes the other. We're referring, so they want to do a good job. They might even do an even better job because we're referring. Because, it's mutual. 100%.
Well, no one wants to disappoint us, right? They know if they disappoint us or one of our clients, that would be the very last time. For me, I don't have 3 strikes and you're out. It's just like, don't mess up.
Me too.
Don't mess up. Like, and, that's the other thing, too. I mean, we have so many people that are like, hey, can I, thanks for the referral. I have baseball tickets, or I have this. Nope, I don't want any of that. Just make sure you treat my client right.
Yeah. I had 2 clients recently who came back who found things after a home inspection, and I'm like, I think I'll think twice before referring that home inspector. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely... it is one of those things, because at the end of the day, it is our reputation, and more importantly, I just want my clients to be happy. I don't want them to be stressed out about. You brought up a good point. One of my clients from the very beginning, she had a roof. Her roof was being done. She had mold in her bathroom upstairs, and she couldn't figure out why. And the roofer had come in, and instead of venting out the fan in the bathroom, just went over it. And it wasn't until something else happened that an inspector came, an insurance inspector, and said, this is why, this is an issue. But it was something that should have never happened in the first place.
Well, and it's so interesting, too, because the people that we do refer, they're just trustworthy people, right? And when I was talking to my friend's stepfather today, and he was telling me about this roof issue, lo and behold, he called the person that I referred. Again, it's Falcone Roofing out of Pembroke, Fred Falcone and his wife Jessica. They're wonderful people, so if you need a roofer, please call me. But they went there, and Fred was like, it has nothing to do with the roof. He's like, it's something to do with your AC condenser is leaking. And he tracked the whole thing. So part of, the ceiling fell, they assumed it was the roof. Now my clients, my friends' parents are elderly, right? They thought it was the roof leaking. It ended up being the condenser, but he took the time to track it down, even though it had nothing to do with the roof itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll tell one other quick story, and I know we just got the bell. I'm just so glad I didn't come in tonight.
I figured you'd call or at least listen anyways.
Yeah, but this one other one was with Mark in particular, as a plumber. It was over in Halifax mobile home community. There was an older woman there, and she needed some plumbing done. And while he was there, she's like, "Oh, would you like to have a cup of tea or something like that?" And Mark has a soft spot in his heart, right? So he's like, "Sure, yeah, great. That was some cookies and tea or whatever." And he's sitting around with her, and she starts to tell him the story that she wanted to get the interior of the house painted, and she had a painter come, gave him $2,500, and he never showed back up. Yeah. So Mark felt so bad. He's like, "I'm not going to give her a bill." But then she started telling everybody down there the story, and they all started calling him. He goes, "I can't work down there for free.
I can't work for free." Yeah. Come on, Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Well,
but those are the things. Too trustworthy, right?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the senior citizens, I would seriously jump in front of a train for them. That makes me so angry.
Right? And, there was that other scam that was going around that year. I think it was 2015 when we got all that snow, right?
Oh.
And those scam artists were going around. Yeah, right? With the ice dams, let me get the snow off your roof, all those other things. And they would never show up. They would take the money, a few $100 or whatever it was. But, if you're going to charge someone $300 to get all the snow off your roof and you do that to 50 people,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I just wanted to call and tell you ladies are doing a fabulous job.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
We'll go with that.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I'll let you continue on with the show. And, I think that Kristen's just a Tuesday night host at this point, right? She does more Tuesday nights than I do.
The only thing I'm going to ask is that our Facebook camera, it needs to be, I need to I need filters.
Oh,
she
needs it to be filtered.
Fabulous.
We'll work on that. Okay, we'll get filters to go over it.
You can work on that. I can't watch on Facebook because you're on my page. So,
no, actually, we're not.
Yeah,
we're not. We're actually on Boston Connect, and somehow it got connected to you, so we have to look into that still. Remember, you and I. All right, perfect.
Well,
thanks for have a good night. All right, bye. Great job. Bye.
We're like
Kathy
Lee
Land.
and Hoda.
Yeah, we are. Except we're not drinking wine in the morning.
No, is it Kathy Lee anymore?
No. It's Hoda and I don't know, that other girl, the other lady. I don't know. But we only have 2 minutes left, and I want you to give your contact information to all of our listeners.
Oh, sure. So, what am I doing? Oh, my phone number.
Your contact information.
If you would like to sell a house, buy a house, look at a house,
talk about a house,
talk about a neighborhood, talk about anything, talk about a style
Facebook
of a
Marketplace.
House. No, we're not talking about Facebook Marketplace. Any of the above, call me. 617-448-4896. 617-448-4896.
I did a weird hand motion to her. That's why she's laughing.
We joked on Saturday about the fact that there's a meme that says, if you repeat your phone number twice when you're leaving a voicemail, you're from the 80s. And I'm like, that's so mean.
Well, I was born in 91, so so there. Okay. But thank you everybody for listening. Again, 781-837-4900 is the number to WATD if you want to get in touch with us, or BostonConnect.com, 781-826-8000.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Enjoy
Kristen.
this beautiful Tuesday night. Open your windows.
Yes.
Turn off the AC.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be in the AC. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
WATD FM Marshfield, WBMS Rockton. The South Shore's first choice for live team coverage of breaking news.